Honest and warranted criticism of Black leaders is not criticism of Black people as a whole. We should not, out of fear of offending Black people, be afraid of pointing out the incompetence and failures of Black leaders. And knowing that there are millions of competent Black people near and far, we should not catch chest pains when Black people who are not performing as they should are called out. This attachment of race to politics may seem like a method of protecting Black people from the constant attack and oppression from white people, but it's actually a way of stopping fellow Black people from seeing the truth about the Black leaders whom they trusted and continue to trust to bring freedom and economic development to Black people. It's a great way of diverting attention. The attack and oppression of Black people is actually not from white people, but Black leaders themselves. If there is no enemy within, the enemy outside can do us no harm is an African proverb we need to remember at all times, especially in our mission to beware of the comrades. Welcome to Citizen Concerned. Subscribe and follow, share and repost. #SmartVoters, #Citizen Concerned. So what do I mean that the attack and oppression is actually not from white people but from Black leaders themselves? Well, let's break it down into 3 points. Starting off with how rich, selfish white people in the private sector are, as some of you have commented, the most corrupt, the ones destroying South Africa.
Look, the biggest problem in South Africa is that people believe that it's only the responsibility of government to be held accountable. And the private sector is the most corrupt in most cases. Instead, government is highly corrupted by the private sector. Now, the biggest corrupter is the private sector.
My question to you about that is, would these rich, selfish white people in the private sector be able to do what they do without Black leaders permitting them to? No, not at all. They are given the right and power to be corrupt and to hurt the country by the same leaders that we are rightfully calling out, calling corrupt, and calling incompetent. Instead of putting policies in place that will stop the rich, selfish white people from looting and destroying our country, they would rather allow the looting and destruction of South Africa to take place just because it is serving them, their stomachs, their bank accounts, and their individual families. What happens to the greater national family? Who cares? Certainly not them. The second point is, while they're able to put policies in place that benefit the rich and selfish because they will benefit some, they have failed to put policies in place that will benefit brilliant and capable Black people, young and old, who have the potential to make a difference. And please don't tell me about BEE, because they use BEE to allow themselves, their fellow comrades, and sometimes select white people to eat. I'm talking about well thought out policies that ensure that bright Blacks who have solutions and innovations for South African tech, medical, economical, transportational, agricultural, educational, and other industries are equipped with the resources necessary to materialize these solutions for the benefit of all of South Africa. And we have many such Black people, like Olufemi Adewola, a professor of medicine, physician, and pulmonologist, who saw that we had an issue of delayed and missed diagnosis of 3 million TB cases, which may have led to the continuous spread of the disease. For this problem, he created the Sweat TB test, a non-invasive rapid diagnostic test to detect TB. Professor Olufemi also realized that the available methods are high-tech, they cannot be deployed in rural centers, they depend only on sputum, which sometimes may not be collectible, is time-consuming, requiring patients to make repeated clinic visits before a diagnosis is made. His Sweat TB test uses a sweat of patients to detect TB within 10 minutes without any needle prick and blood test, ensuring early medication, thus effectively controlling TB and reducing TB-related deaths. Would it not be beneficial for the nation and continent to invest funds on such individuals and projects instead of giving individuals like Edwin Sodi 295 million rand for mansions and parties with influences? We also have black people like Bethlehem Desi, a 24-year-old woman from Ethiopia. By the age of 10, Bethlehem had started coding in HTML by herself. She taught basic computer skills to her classmates from school, so she's intelligent, business-minded, and philanthropic. The Ethiopian government employed Bethlehem as a developer for the government at the age of 12 in 2011. And she went on to create her own coding, research and development company, and it trains children aged 6 to 13 on topics ranging from robotics to AI and programming. This young founder and CEO works with more than 80 young people to find solutions to society's problems using technology.
I have been a tech educator for the past 3 years and a tech entrepreneur since I was 9 years old. I started coding professionally, I think I would say when I was 12 years old, because once I came to Addis from Harar, I joined a government agency called INSA, and I was able to find mentors and actually work on real-life projects there.
Now, can you imagine how quick and easy using South African government websites would be if they hired skilled and driven people like Bethlehem? With the high unemployment rate in South Africa, why not fund and support people like Rapper Thompson Ricky, a former security guard who became a motorbike rider throughout the streets of Uganda and today is a co-founder and director of Safe Border, a safer form of ride-hailing service. His business did not come to him on a silver platter, but rather through the sad passing of his very good friend who lost his life due to a border-related accident. The sad occurrence inspired Rapper Thompson to introduce safety to the then informal ride-hailing industry, giving birth to Safe Border, Rapper's company which offers riders extensive training in road safety, first aid, bike maintenance, and customer service, making them among the safest and most professional riders in the country. Rapper Thompson not only brings safety to the public transport in Uganda, but also contributes to the empowerment of communities and creates professional job opportunities. Instead of complaining about how white people are attacking and oppressing black people while downloading and using their Uber app, why don't you support black people who have the potential to create South Africa's successful ride-hailing service? And let Africa take their creativity, their innovation and development to the world. Black leaders, you have the power to move Africa from merely consuming everything from the West and start creating things that the West may like to use too, bringing money to South Africa. Tell me this, are white people stopping our black leaders from driving only in the 7 cars made in Africa? Are white people stopping our black leaders from incentivizing citizens for picking African cars over Western cars to ensure that Africa establishes a successful, functioning automobile industry that will circulate money within Africa instead of buying German cars and continuing the process of throwing Africa's wealth at other countries? Would such actions not lead to that one Africa, African currency and united Africa they've been talking about for all these years? Just pause and imagine if instead of talking about all their ideas, African leaders would put their money where their mouth is. But they don't. They just speak, shout to get us excited, to get us fooled and full of faith in them and full of hatred against other races and other countries. Such investments done right are ultimately an investment to the future of our nation and continent. Black leaders, stop blaming the past and start investing in the future. And if you don't do that, we will call you out, not because we don't believe in black people, but because we don't believe in incompetent leaders, no matter their color. If we were in America, I'd be making videos about Joe Biden, a white incompetent leader. But I'm in Africa, where incompetent leaders are black. It's nothing personal, it's nothing racial. Thirdly and finally, these same leaders are not even trying to encourage and instill a culture that challenges us to reach our fullest potential. Hence, most of their followers mock black people and black families who have chosen to challenge themselves to be the best in good things. Not the best twerkers, not the best drinkers, not the best consumers of expensive foreign brands, but the best thinkers, best innovators, youngest readers, youngest mathematicians, and so on. How are Black people who seek to be and do the best mocked and discouraged? Well, by stuff like, you're trying to be white. What does being white look like really? And if it's being better than where I am right now, please sign me up. Why are you speaking English with a coconut accent? Kana, which accent is English meant to be spoken in? You think wasting money and time studying will help? Just give up. Making money as a slave queen or a criminal is much easier. Well, we would rather take our chances at doing something that will yield an honest living, as hard and as difficult as it may be. So thank you very much. It is these unsavory cultures and not white people encouraging dummification and zombification. It is a culture of lowering the education status and standard, the pass rate moving from 50% to 30% instead of identifying why young people are struggling to reach that 50% and helping them. It is this culture of making the Black youth comfortable with being less than average, while other races are encouraging their children to be in the top 3, never mind top 10. Please note that one common thread across all the 3 excellent individuals I mentioned in our second point is a culture of hard work, focus, determination, concern for others, and desire to reach their fullest potential. It's not a culture of fun, dance, promiscuity, and all things like that. Which takes us back to our video shared on the 15th of December regarding the necessity to change our culture. To change our country, we need to change our culture. To change our continent, we need to change our culture.
When I was still in Harar, I was like 9 years old, and then I was trying to celebrate my birthday. So I asked my father for some money, but he was busy. So what I did was I edited some videos, I copied some music to people's phones, and I made some money. So I figured this is something new. I can also make some money out of it. So I figured this is something I should really learn. So it was at a very early stage. Everyone was trying to get into computer and technology. So I thought having the first mover advantage would be great. So that's when I first figured that I will be using tech and be involved in the tech scene.
With all of this in mind, do you still think that Black leaders are being criticized simply because they are Black? Do you still think that calling out Black leaders who are incompetent is the same as saying that all Black people as a whole are incompetent? I sit here knowing that there are millions of competent Black people near and far, and I'm not offended when Black people who are not performing as they should are called out. I am happy because I know that we are better, we can do better, and we should do better. Please stop attaching race to politics. Doing that makes it easier for incompetent Black leaders to hide their mistakes behind white people are the ones attacking and oppressing you. But letting go of race and identity politics opens your eyes to see leaders for who they truly are, not what skin they are. Remember, if there is no enemy within, the enemy outside can do us no harm. If indeed white people are attacking and oppressing us, they need Black leaders to do this through. Thank you so much for watching. This is Citizen Concerned. Please like, subscribe, share, and repost. #SmartVoters, #Citizen Concerned. And now more than ever, beware of the comrades.